Hi, welcome. Nice to have you here. My name's Lorna, and this is the Den. Welcome. This is the Den Mental Wellbeing and Emotional Support. Um, Thanks for stopping along. Really nice to have you here. So, a few weeks ago, I shared a video talking about what it is I do. So, if you don't know me already, what I offer to the world is mental well-being, emotional support work. I'm an independent emotional support worker. So that is what I do. But what is that? What does that mean? So yeah, a few weeks ago I shared a video about my work with children, because I do work with children. I also work with young people, and I also work with adults. So I said a few weeks ago that I would share some other videos about the other support work. So yeah, that video exists about what support work looks like with children. And today, I thought I'd share with you a little bit about what my support work looks like with adults. So yeah, I offer support work to children, young people, and adults, but obviously that's approached a little bit differently with each age group. It's actually approached a little bit differently with each individual, but yeah, it obviously is different. Depending on sort of age group as well. If you're an adult or a child, that would look different. So there are three sort of areas that I really want to talk to you about today. One is my life stories course. Two is my 5 ways to wellbeing course. And then 3 is my sort of parental support sessions. And then I'll just say something general as well. So yes, I want to start with the life stories course because it's one of my favourites, I think. So as well as my training and experience with counselling, I also have a training and lots of experience with theatre and performance. Don't panic though. I don't work with well, I suppose I could, but I'm not about forcing people to perform or do those scary role play things. That is not why I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing it up because that gives me a really good grounding in storytelling. Now, storytelling is a hugely important part of just being human, of our socialization. Our world, our social world, and our relationship world is formed through stories. Our history is built based upon stories. We understand the world through storytelling. We understand ourselves through storytelling. Storytelling shapes how we interact with other people, how we interact with the world. We have a story of our family journey, of what we're carrying with us. We have the stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves, and we have our stories that we tell ourselves about the world, and we have a community story about how our world works and what we expect from our world. Storytelling is huge. It's a really important part of the human experience. So that's just like why I'm excited by why I like the life stories course. In the life stories course, we take this concept of storytelling and how we interpret stories and build stories and make meaning from stories, and we look at your individual story. So we look at specific sort of important stories throughout your life. Maybe also, like, I mean, it does depend on each person, but maybe the littler stories in your life that sort of you've come to believe are not quite so significant, but maybe there's meaning to be found in them. And we also sort of zoom out. So we look at individual, like the important stories within your life, but we also zoom out and look at the big picture of your life. See the whole story of your life. See how these beginning stories are impacting on your story now. And again, we look at the stories that you tell yourself. We look at the stories that you think other people believe, maybe. And yeah, we look at the meaning that you've placed on the different stories in your life, how you tell those stories to yourself, how you tell them to other people, and how that impacts or affects your view of the world, your view of yourself, how you interact with other people. Everything that I was saying really about what stories do for humanity as like a social setting, and how we make meaning of the world. We use all of that and we apply it to your life and how you interact with the world and how you interact in relationships. And it can be really, really powerful. It really can help people to own their story and to understand their story. And we can see if we can find new understanding within the storytelling sort of journey. Within understanding your story, can we find new understanding of your life, of who you are? And yeah, it can really help people to sort of I mean, I say the word change tentatively because not necessarily looking to change people potentially, but sometimes. But it can really help people to understand how they are interacting with people and the world, and maybe change that. If it's change that people are looking for, it can help people to change the here and now. So after gaining a different or a new understanding of their story, who they are, where they've been, who they are now, telling a new story or telling the same story from a different perspective, or just gaining new meaning and new understanding from the stories that we already have, can really help ground us in who we are and how we want to be in the world, and what we expect from life, what we allow to be part of our story, and what we reject and say, I don't need that as part of my story anymore, and I'm not gonna have it. So yeah, it's really powerful. I really, really enjoy the Life Stories course. So that's one of the ways that I can work with adults in support work. Another one of the courses that I offer is the 5 Ways to Wellbeing course. This one's a little bit more practical, but also really fun. Really like this course. So this is very specifically a 5-week course, and on each of the 5 weeks we look at one of the 5 ways to wellbeing, and it's about looking at how those ways are present in your life at the moment, how they could be present in your life. We have a little practice at each of those ways of wellbeing, and we find out, are they active in your life at the moment? How can we make them present or more present? How can we be aware of them more, make them more present in your life, or make us really appreciate those elements of our life, and like prioritize them, and talk about integrating all of those ways to wellbeing into just our normal everyday life when everything's hectic and everything's busy, and we're dropping some of that self-care. This course helps us bring some of that self-care back in and see it not as a luxury, not as something we'll only do when everything else is sorted. This is about re-establishing that self-care as part of our personal routine, and recognizing that how we can't give everything to everybody else if we're not looking after ourselves in the process and refilling that. So it's really practical way of addressing some of those self-care issues, making sure that you're filled as much as you're trying to fill and offer to everybody else, through practical activities, and really looking directly at your life save. And if you're thinking, what on earth is the 5 ways to wellbeing? They are connect, stay active, take notice. I'm looking down because I can never remember them all in one go. Keep learning, and give. And these 5 ways to wellbeing have come from research that the research was done quite a lot of years ago now, but that it's continued to be worked upon and utilised, and is still prevalent in the mental wellbeing sort of world, because they work. These are ways that really help us to stay invested and input into ourselves. Like I said, it's the self-care element that helps us to take care of ourselves and to feel positive and important and valuable to ourselves. So yeah, that's a really nice one, and really like practical. I think it really makes you feel like each week you're taking steps forward. And that could be for anybody. That could be for somebody who feels like, actually everything's rosy at the moment, but I just need to remember what I'm doing right now and solidify that and embed it, so that I don't lose it again. Or it can be for somebody who feels like, do you know what, I haven't got any self-care at the moment, I'm not doing well mentally, and I don't even know where to start. So either way, we can live in that world of just not knowing where to start and feeling completely lost, and knowing that our well-being's suffering and needing some help to get started with that. It's great for that. But also, it's when everything's rosy and we're all smiling and just in that breeze moment, it's so easy to forget that it just takes us slipping one of those things, like, losing out on one of those 5 ways, or just thinking, oh, self-care can wait for a minute because everything else is more important, and I'm all right at the moment, so I just don't need to focus on me right now. And then it's a slippery slope back to our mental well-being not being quite so good. So the 5 Ways to Wellbeing course is really good for anywhere on the mental wellbeing continuum, really. So yeah, that's a great one. And then the other thing that I've offered a lot of, the third thing I wanted to talk about, was my parental support. I have done an awful lot of supporting parents and families, particularly families with neurodivergent children, especially navigating the school system, which can be really tricky and really stressful, and having somebody that you can come to and just completely offload of that. It's when you're dealing with that process, it's a huge weight that you're carrying with you all of the time, and having somebody to lump that off of you onto, that was a mixed up sentence, you know what I'm saying, somebody to offload onto, somebody who can walk alongside you in that stressful journey, it can be really, really helpful, because it is tricky and it is stressful, and you don't need to pretend that it isn't, and you don't need to pretend like, I don't know, I mean, we say that, oh yeah, it's really hard, but then we think we have to just get on with it, and that's just silly. So yeah, I've done lots and lots of supporting people through that sort of neurodivergent versus school journey. But equally, I mean, my history was in children and families support work, so it absolutely doesn't have to be about neurodivergent issues. It absolutely doesn't have to even be about special educational needs issues. Just be about parenting. Parenting's hard. It's really hard. And again, even though it's sort of bandied around a lot, it's, social media, we like to talk about how hard parenting is, but then out there in the real world, we still all slap on that face that says, oh yeah, but I'm getting through this, or like, well, everybody else is coping, so must be, everyone else is fine, so I've got to be fine. Or having a space that you can come to and just be like, parenting's been really hard this week, or I shouted at my kids, and really I think it was probably my issue and not theirs, and that makes me feel really rubbish. That's my issue. I do that. Whatever it is, whatever the support is you need. And so that really leads me on to the sort of wrap up, really. My adult support work is about being somebody to journey alongside you. That's what it is. So it could be anything, really. It doesn't have to be parenting. It doesn't have to be the Life Stories course. If there's an issue that you need support with, emotional support with, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to journey alongside you through the bits that are a bit pants, because it can be. So yeah, obviously the courses are sort of specific number of weeks that you sign up to the course for, And then there's a bit of, you know, if we just want to go for open support work, that could be anything. That can be just a one-off session. You have one particular thing that you want to talk about and do some figuring out around, and we can do that. It could be that you sign up for one and that's great, thank you, bye-bye. That's fine, that's absolutely fine. It could be that you want to sign up for just open sessions and every week you book a new one, or you put in a standing appointment if you want. That's fine too, and then those sessions will just come to an end when you're ready for them to come to an end, and you're in control of that. You let me know if we're booking next week's appointment, or if it's a long-standing appointment, you let me know when the time is for that to come to an end. Or equally, just because it's not a course doesn't mean you can't set yourself a fixed term. You could, if you wanted, just say, do you know what, I want to sign up for 5 weeks, and we'll see what happens, how that goes. That's fine too. Really, there are no rules. Whatever it is that you want support with, and whatever it is, however it is that you want to go about laying that out, there's no rules. We can figure that out together. So yeah, if you're interested in that, if you'd like to hear a bit more or have some questions, feel free to drop me a line. I'd really love to hear from you. There is never any obligation. I'm rushing through now because I realise how long that I've been talking. But yeah, I'd really love to hear from you. There's never any obligation. If you'd like to have a chat with me, you're more than welcome to do so. Drop me a line. So you can go to my website, which is mentalwellbeing at.den.co.uk, and the at in there is the word at, not the symbol at. So it's mentalwellbeing at.den.co.uk, or you can email me at Lorna at the symbol, Lorna at mentalwellbeing at.den.co.uk. But I'll put all of that information in the comments and things. So the last thing for me to say as quickly as I possibly can is please do share this video. It might be that you're watching me just for lols right now, or out of curiosity, and you're thinking, I don't really need this service at the moment, but you never know which one of your friends might be in need of some support. So please do share this. The only way for me to reach the people who are looking for that little bit of extra support is for you to share it and to get my voice out there amongst people. So please do share this video. And if you can't do that, please do give me a like, because that keeps the social media algorithms working and shows me to more people. So yeah, like and share. Really, really grateful. Thank you so much for that, and see you next time. Bye.